Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this week we're gonna work on a specific project that I had in mind for quite some time already. And I'm gonna call this project the OMNI project. OMNI is Latin for everything, so it kind of makes sense if I talk more about this project and you'll understand why. So I'm gonna work on designs that you can basically change to whatever you like, depending on what you want to wear. And I am thinking about like a button-up way of detaching and attaching multiple design elements, if that makes sense, with like one core piece that you're gonna attach onto. So I have my pattern of a bustier kind of piece already printed out here in front of me, and I also added some waist pieces. So essentially I'm going to have a bustier and then a waist under bust kind of piece that together is going to form a top, more or less. And you can add or, you know, detach the waist piece and whatever you like. So basically that means that you have an empire waist, a normal waist, you can have a, you know, between waist and hip waist. You can do anything that you want if you just attach the piece accordingly. So that is the idea. I have this sketch right here that I did yesterday, and I also did like this kind of layering thing so that you can see what I mean. So you have the bustier portion, and that's gonna have buttonholes on the inside, on the empire waist, and then also on the neckline. Probably not all around, but wherever is necessary, for example here at the shoulder area for straps, or somewhere here if you want to have some other neckline. Essentially that's up to you, but I want to give as many options to this piece as possible because I don't know what the future holds, and maybe we're gonna add more and more pieces to it so that in the end you're gonna have like this very omni suitable garment, I guess, that you can, you know, make into anything that you want essentially. And you need options for that, so probably I'm just gonna add buttonholes throughout the whole neckline and the whole empire waist so that we can do anything that we want. So hopefully that's gonna be enough buttons to hold the pieces together. I guess so, but we're gonna see about that in this week's video because that's what this week is for. We're gonna try out my ideas. So let's get into it. I'm gonna cut out every piece that I have right here, and then we're gonna make it out of some tryout fabric and check if the fit is right and then also if the concept works. So let's get going. Okay, I have my tryout piece now ready and on. As you can see, it's just the bustier piece at the moment. I also added like a zipper to the side so that I can go in and out really easily, but that's the shape. I think I want to straighten out this line a teeny tiny bit because it drops down like that. So maybe like this so that it goes straight to the side. You have to do that in front of the mirror. But apart from that, I think the shape itself looks really nice. Right here, I'm gonna add some sort of buttonhole tape, probably bias tape, where I add button holes into it. Or if I find something with buttonholes already in it, I know that there are tapes like that already pre-made, but I need something elastic because all of the shapes are round. So that's that. But essentially that is working out really, really well. And the back lays on fold. I want to have everything opening on the side so that, you know, you can put it on yourself. I think that's practical. And then obviously you want to add straps. I mean, I'm wearing this now without straps and it's not falling down, so that's good, but I'm also wearing something underneath. It might have some sort of grip on it. I don't know how it works without anything, but I want to do straps anyways. I have these poofy sleeves planned, which I want to do as well for this with the buttons and stuff so that you can change into short sleeves and just straps or whatever. And yeah, that's that. Let's straighten out this line and then get to working on the waist area. Okay, very cheaply added the piece that I cut off of the bodice, not the bodice, the bust area. I added it with bias binding and hem tape and everything to the waist pieces. Obviously the paper pattern still has to be changed, but that's fine. So I am now gonna put the waist pieces together as well. So we'll end up with one bust piece and then also a waist piece. And I'm gonna add to both of these at the empire waist a tape of bias binding, where I'm gonna add buttonholes to the piece that I'll attach to the bust piece, and then I need to add buttons to the waist piece so that I can test the structural integrity, I guess, of both of these being put together while being worn, so that it doesn't, you know, gape open, it doesn't move around and whatnot. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that is now the pieces both on. I quite like how it looks, how it feels. I want to have the waist area tight. I'm thinking about adding some boning as well, so you have a corset top essentially. But obviously we're gonna do in the future probably some looser solutions as well. I'm thinking about like a volant or whatever, a little bit more wavy. You can obviously do anything Bridgerton inspired with an empire waist, so you know, a skirt up here, and then we just need the sleeves here. So with that now done, and the fit works quite nicely, the wrinkles here that go this way are because there is not enough structure in the waist piece. Once you add boning and stabilization and everything like that, this is also just one layer, that's gonna go away. And yeah, so that's nice, everything fits. Let's check the empire waist area where we're gonna add the button and button loops. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a bias binding tape with buttonholes and buttons to it. I positioned them 10 centimeters apart, and then at the end I did 5 centimeters, and I am probably gonna do 5 centimeters apart, but I just wanted to try it out and see if that works or if I have to do 5. So I'm just going to put this onto my bodice, just like right sides together. I'm gonna match up the middle, which is right here. I just see that I can't match up the middle because the center is not my center. So I wanna have, definitely, I wanna have a buttonhole in the center front. So I'm just gonna add this right here and then, you know, check if this works for my sides. But I think it is. As you can see, it works kind of perfectly. So let's just go ahead and pin this on, and then I'm also going to sew this on. Okay, I feel like the putting together was a big success. Like, this feels very sturdy or like secure, and it doesn't look too bad. I feel like you can't really see it. I had a little bit of doubts that you might see the buttons through, but you don't really do that, so that's a plus. And yeah, obviously the zipper situation is a bit of a mess, but we're gonna figure that out, probably with just 2 zippers or hooks and eyes or whatever. And other than that, one thing I did, I had to cut towards the waistline. I elongated my pattern piece here, the waist pieces, by 4 centimeters. And I already thought that that might be an issue, because obviously if you just, you know, elongate your pieces and not add any hip width to your circumference, this is gonna bulk up and it's not gonna fit. I already knew that. I just wanted to try it out because I didn't know exactly how the pattern that I based this off of was working anymore, because it's been a long time since the last time I used it. So I just wanted to try it out to get a little bit more the look that I have in my drawing, because I feel like this is a lot of bust area and very little waist, but that's just my anatomy, I guess. So there is not much that I can do to resemble the drawing, and I'm working with this now. So I will be shortening the pattern by 4 centimeters again to have my actual waistline as my waistline, and then from there on, obviously skirts and whatnot are no problem. So that's just a little thing that you might want to consider. I have long legs and short torso, so my waist to neck area is not very long. Other people have longer torsos. You need to elongate your pattern pieces by just adding width here. So that's all of that. Anyhow, I think I'm ready to go ahead and try out my sleeves. I did not make a pattern piece for that yet, but I'm just gonna do that right now after I have my doctor's appointment, where I have to get going now. So see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. It's actually the next day, and I did not feel like getting ready, so you have to be fine with me like this. So I'm not all fancy schmancy pants. So let's go ahead and continue with our tryouts that we did yesterday, or that you just saw. I actually went ahead and made the pattern for the sleeves. I did some additions, I guess, for the shoulder so that you have a round arm's eye, and then you can basically close the side seam and button it to the bodice area. That's the plan. So let's go ahead and print out the pattern and then test it out and see how everything's going. Okay, I have everything now cut out. I finished the shoulder seam for my straps, and now I'm just going to essentially gather this down to fit my arm's eye, and then do the side seams, the cuff, the slit, everything like that, and see how everything fits before attaching the button tapes. And I also have, I think, a good idea over how I want to make that. So I'm going to show you that as well, with like the ones that I have already done and then the ones that I will be doing now. So let's get going and let's get gathering. Okay, I have my sleeve now ready, and I'm gonna make the button tape that I am going to put onto my sleeve here, and then also onto the neckline. So I want to have it this length here, so all the parts of my sleeve that will be attached to my bodice. And I'm gonna cut 2 of these from some bias binding. I'm just using this color because I figure I'm not using that too often, or will be using this color too often in the future. So that's the only reason. I'm gonna iron this open. Maybe I should put you to the other side here. So let's iron this open. And then I have some hem tape that is actually the exact width of these bias binding tapes. So I'm just gonna cut off a piece that fits this, and I'm essentially gluing them together to create a very strong but also still flexible piece of fabric. So let's iron this together, and be careful to not glue it onto your iron or your surface, because it will if there's something sticking out. And this is what I will be using as, in this case, buttons. So I'm just gonna put right sides together and essentially add buttons. I don't think I will be adding buttons right now, or should I? I should probably, and check if everything works. So I'm gonna add buttons before I am sewing this onto the sleeve because it's easier for me to handle it. So let's get a ruler, and I probably want to start with the buttons 2 centimeters in from both sides because the length here has seam allowance still on it, so this here is seam allowance. And let's put a button here and here, then into the center, and probably that should be enough, or you could do one in the center here as well. I think I'm gonna I could also do one here and then one here and not have one here, so that I have a little bit more strength. And then I'm gonna do the same and add buttonholes to those spots, which will be put onto the bodice. Okay, wait. Okay, so this is the piece now. This is where it should sit. So one thing that is immediately clear is that the sleeve is too loose and it makes kind of a dart right here. So that is where I want to take in a little bit, like so, and it sits immediately better. Maybe I'm gonna pinch out like a centimeter at the back because I feel like right here on this side it's opening up as well. I am planning on adding like a strap from here that you can tie in the back so that it stays on for sure. But essentially that's that. Obviously the fabric that I'm using here is very stiff, so this is not the final look of the sleeve. It's very like poofy. I feel like it's not really nicely flowing, especially like up here. So, but whatever, that's gonna fix itself with the right fabric choice. And I see that I definitely have to pinch out a centimeter here somewhere in this curve. Otherwise it's just not gonna lay flat. But apart from that, the whole like button thingy works out really well. The only thing that's a bit tricky is that on one side, of course, there will be the zipper area. So I am thinking about how I want to, you know, achieve that. Maybe I'm just gonna put the zipper in the back, then I have no issues whatsoever, like with anything. But I feel like this is working out better than I thought it would. I thought it would be much bigger of an like a tryout phase, I guess, but this just worked out, so that's really, really handy. This is like slipping down a tiny bit because I don't have any support, like a strap on this side. Yeah, but I think I am ready to finalize the pattern. I already said that this piece here is sitting here because my waist is right there, where I opened the piece up, and then from here my hip starts. So I want this to stop at the waistline, so I have to take out 4 centimeters because I already said that my proportions are like that. This might vary with your proportions as like bodies are very different. Okay. But I think that's that. I think I haven't had like a messy tryout piece like this one in a very, very long time, but that's fine. I know what to do with this and how to work with it, and everything looks good. So I guess I can, you know, continue. But I hope to you everything that I am doing was clear-ish and, you know, you understood what I was doing. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this very messy tryout piece. I'm gonna think about how I actually do the closure. I might do it in the back, as I just said, with a zipper probably. I'm gonna see about that, what makes the most sense. Maybe I have to do some buttons or some clasps or something like that. I don't know yet. But I am super excited to actually make this out of real fabric and see how all of this works out. Hopefully it does work out. Fingers crossed. I think this is really exciting. I hope you are enjoying this process as well. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you'll get notified every time that I post. I post on Sundays, so you can keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please also go ahead and check out all of my socials. I am doing short format content all about my project projects. So if you're interested in tips and tricks all around this project, head over to my Instagram, YouTube Shorts, or Pinterest uploads, I guess. And the most direct way to support me and keep videos just like this one coming is to head over to my Etsy store and get any of my patterns. I am sure you're gonna find a few things that you are interested there. I will put the link as soon as it's available into the description box down below. It's the first link. So if you want to get this specific pattern right here, you're gonna find the direct link in the description box down below. It's probably up in a week's time. So a special thank you to my channel members. You can get exclusive benefits through the link in the description down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you next Sunday. Bye guys!